Hi, folks. I just got one more thing to quickly set up, and then we will start our cooking with me today. Also, this time I'm using royalty-free instrumental music, so that way I don't have to worry about my videos getting flagged or anything. There's a single here. Okay. So that'll be a good thing. Let me shut this off. This is kind of loud. Okay. Oh no. Okay, so this one actually does get a little messy just because there's flour involved. So make sure you're using your PPEs and stuff like that. I will be able to see what you're saying. It just will be a little delayed because I'm reading what you guys say through this and actually broadcasting with my laptop over there through a third-party website. So let me see if I can hear the music. Okay, let me turn this music up just slightly for the little background ambiance. Okay. Also, if you guys have any problems hearing me, just let me know, and we will fix that. Hi, Shane. Okay, so today we are making one of my favorite recipes that I used to make as a kid, and it's my meat buns. Okay, all seriousness though, these meat buns are delicious, and the recipe is really simple. Anything that I'm doing today, with the exception of obviously tweaking it, but the base of the meat buns, I am using a recipe off the back of a Clabber Girl bottle or Clabber Girl container. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's that right there. So all of the instructions on how to do this up to a certain point are on here, and then after that point, it's all freehand and just doing what I want. And you can do that with a lot of recipes. Get inventive. Like, now's the time. You know, you're stuck at home in quarantine, might as well, right? So, so the first thing we're gonna do is actually make the outside of the meat bun, and then we're gonna fill it with all the meat. Oh, I'm too much for this. This is too much for me. And it's also ungodly hot. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, also, if you see the little flag there, I'm actually going to be making a video about that or something related to that tomorrow. Not tonight, but tomorrow. It will not be in drag. It's kind of important to me. So, hi, Brad. Hi, Star. So, here we go. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put together our flour. We've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Really, honestly, realistically, you can use any type of flour as long as it's not self-rising. I highly do not recommend using self-rising flour for this recipe because it will not, if this hair could say that, oh my gosh. Okay, it will not work the greatest. It'll puff up too much and it'll get gross. So make sure it's all-purpose or just enriched flour. As long as it's not self-rising, you really can do it with this recipe. You know, so alrighty, and then you just toss that in there, and then we've got 2.5 teaspoons of Clabber Girl baking powder, obviously, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I've already put in here. And then you're just gonna mix that up. I got a handy dandy little spoon just to make it a little neater. Got a nice little Betty Crocker mixing bowl straight from Dollar Tree, which is where you can find most of the utensils that I'm using. Is that good old, hi Jordan, welcome to the show. But it's where you can find a lot of the stuff I'm going to be using is Dollar Tree, really, or stuff from food pantry, stuff like that. So so you really can do this with anything, really. Okay. And don't be afraid to say hi, everybody. I can get your comments. It's just delayed. So anything you say, any question, or something that you want to see me make for you guys, or some tips or anything on any sort of cooking stuff, just let me know and I will let you know, okay? And especially if you have ideas on stuff to do for these Cooking with a Queen segments, because I actually do enjoy them and the food I make is so delicious. So I would love to continue doing this for y'all during quarantine and just help y'all with some of my personal favorite recipes, or if I have any family tips and secrets straight from the corner. As you can see, I'm at an undisclosed underground corner location. But any ideas for any recipes that you might want to see me do, just please comment them, let me know, message me them, and I will definitely try to fit them into another Cooking with a Queen segment, because I would love, some input, what you guys think I'm doing good, what you want to see more of that's not my titties. Okay, and with that, that is my last PG-13 of the episode, because I might have kids watch it later. So, all right. Oh my gosh, Jordan. No, so these are the TITs, and down here is where you can tip me if you so choose. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, if you want to contribute to future Cooking with the Queens, the information is down below, and obviously we have it's over here, our title right here. So, alrighty. So the next thing we do, which this part I always have to like read this. Okay, so now what you're supposed to use is a 1/3 cup shortening. But this lovely creature here, woman, creature, queen, hopper, whatever you want to call me, resident hoe of Tantalizing Thursdays. Regardless, I forgot to get shortening. So these are kinks that you sometimes run into. So what I did was I actually took half of the amount in cooking oil, canola oil specifically. There's an ad. I apologize for that. I'm using YouTube for my music. We're gonna ignore that. Actually don't, because it's actually important information. But so instead of shortening, if for whatever reason you don't have that, you can use cooking oil. You just have to make sure to use half the amount, because cooking oil is it kind of expands and stuff, and you don't want to really mess up the recipe. So I'm using, what you're supposed to use is a 1/3 of a cup of shortening. I'm actually using a 1/6 of a cup of canola oil, just because I forgot shortening, because I haven't really cooked with shortening in a little while. I really need to start again though. My hair could stay back. It would be lovely. Okay, so you just like make a little well, like I showed you in the homemade noodles video, and you just do that and put the cooking oil in, or shortening. If it's shortening, you don't need to make a well, you just want to cut it in. And by cut it in, I mean you use motions like with a spoon or with a knife, and just cut like you're cutting a slice of bread or something, and mix it that way. Because this is cooking oil, I can get away with stirring it a little bit. And you just, it's not supposed to get really wet or anything. You're just trying to mix it in as much as possible before you move on. And it's going to look a little crumbly, and that's what you want. You want it to look a little crumbly. That'll help you later on with the recipe. So you just cut that in a little bit. I'm stirring because I'm saying. And like anytime you use shortening, you want to cut it in, because it does not blend well. You can use a pastry blender, but it doesn't, the flour will go flat, and it does not blend well when you just mix it and stir it. So what you want to do is you just want to cut it in anytime you use shortening. You know, so I mean, but cooking oil, like I said, will work just the same. Just use a little bit less of it. Make sure that it all gets like mixed in there. Alrighty. Next step, we're gonna make a handy dandy little well again. Oh, whoops. I just realized, well, okay, so here's the story behind that, Jordan. Let me fix that real quick. So I didn't really check it and I didn't really change it from the last time I okay, there it goes. Okay, so I did not really change it from the last time I did a show, which was last Thursday, with Trip Clutch, who is commenting, my lovely brother, sister, whatever you want to call him or her on any given day. This being is very fluid with gender. It just depends on what name you are, depends on what said person is to me. So, but no, so now it's looking all nice and crumbly. I can't really show you guys because of the setup I have currently, but it's looking all nice and little crumbly. And so we're gonna make our handy dandy little well again. Obviously, you want to make sure there's at least like 1/4 of an inch of flour underneath, just so that way it doesn't soak to the bottom and stick. And then we're gonna take our milk. We have 3/4 of a cup of milk. For me personally, I have soy milk because I am actually allergic to milk. So, and it's all based on preference at this point for milk. Anything you substitute is really all based on preference. So, for example, if you use milk, you can substitute it with applesauce. You can substitute it with soy milk, almond milk, coconut milk, rice milk. Really, any sort of like milky type thing or something that's a liquid, but that also has some sort of fiber-ish to it. I personally am using soy milk because that's my personal preference. Any type of milk that you use is great as a substitute. You just want to use regular milk, go right ahead. It works. The recipe just says milk on it, but like I said, I've used soy milk every time I've done this recipe, and it was great. So, hi Crimson, hi Erin. I'm not even gonna pronounce that first name because I don't want to take a chance to ruin it. But your last name is Quintus, so I'm saying hi to you. So, all right, so you're just gonna dump this milk, all of it, in the well, and just stir that shit right up. Actually, let's probably tag somebody. Hi, Calvin. Like I said earlier in the video, for those of you just joining us, any sort of comments you have, I apologize about the delay. It's just the way that Facebook works and the setup I have. I can see your comments. They just kind of, my responses will be a little delayed because it lags a little bit between the two, between when I'm actually taking this video and when you guys see it. But any sort of comments you have, questions about what I'm cooking, how I'm cooking it, any sort of shit like that, just let me know. Or anything you want to see me cook on a future Cooking with the Queen segment, please let me know because it is a lot of fun and I enjoy this time with you. Hi, Precious. But yeah, so you want to just like stir this shit together. It's gonna be sticky. Okay, so it says here on the recipe that you want to stir it till it pulls away from the sides. I honestly just like to stir it until it, 1, pulls away from the sides, and 2, is a little bit incorporated. Like I said though, this shit is gonna be super sticky. That's why I'm wearing gloves, because I'm not trying to be like get my hands all gross and stuff. So, but you just want to make sure that all that flour and everything in there is incorporated, or at least on it. Hi, Playa. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Precious, I am making a recipe that I used to do all the time as a kid. It's meat buns. So, like you'll find them in like Japanese cooking. I got hair on my lip. But you'll find it in Japanese cooking, Asian cooking, really. You can make them in like US style. You just make them any way you want. And I personally am using a biscuit recipe from the back of a Clabber Girl bottle and then filling them with meat of my preference. So you want to, I actually kind of needed it in there a little bit more than I was supposed to. So you can't really see, but I have a cutting board here. And it's kind of a big one because I'm going to take a little bit of flour and put it on it so it doesn't stick to it. And then take this sticky ass ball and knead this ball for like 30 seconds or until it's smooth, just to get everything incorporated, make sure it's not as sticky anymore. And like I said, this was actually one of my favorite like recipes because it kind of is like this specific recipe is it's kind of like a mix of a Michigan pasty and a actual meat bun, like what you'd find at a Chinese buffet or something. Now, also another thing too is when you're using the baking powder, you want to be careful that you use exactly what it says, or when you're experimenting with baking powder, you want to be careful how much you use because too much can make it taste like a dirty penny or just metallic in general. I know, Playa, I do too. But I mean, in the meantime, we got to make do with what we got, right? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. So you can see my bitch ass on screen doing something productive since I can't work my corner. And on the plus side, I can still do this. So hi, Kendall. Thank you for joining us. Okay. So once you get a nice little ball of dough, now obviously if you want to make more meat buns or less meat buns, you can double the recipe, half the recipe. You can double the recipe, half the recipe. It'll give you more or less dough. You just want to make sure, like with most doughs, that you use it right away. Most doughs do not store well. If obviously you can store it for a little bit, but most doughs do not store well. So if obviously I would recommend just making it as needed on an as needed basis. So that way you're not overusing. As I swap my hair away with this, I'm about to just take this wig off and choose this out. But okay. So but yeah, so that way you can yeah, we definitely so Trip, that's actually something I want to talk about. I do need to get more foundation because I ran out today. But I would like to do another show with you. Different setup next time, obviously. But I would like to do another show with you sometime. So hit me up, message me later, message me tomorrow. Message me tomorrow about it, and we will get that set up so we can do another show. Because I would really like to do that. Because what I was thinking about doing is possibly either doing a Cooking with the Queen and a show, or alternating Cooking with the Queen, then a show, then Cooking with the Queen each Thursday. But I think I want to do, if I do a show, I'm gonna also do a Cooking with the Queen and just do both the same week, and then just alternate when I do shows. Okay, but moving on. So next up, we have our handy dandy cookie spray. As I drop shit. We have our handy dandy cooking spray. It does not matter what cooking spray you use. Obviously, if it's a flavored cooking spray, it will alter the flavor of whatever you're cooking. So, like with anything, it's based on personal preference. You like sweet shit, use a sweet one. You like salty shit, use a salty one. You like bland shit, no, get out of here. Get out of here. We don't like bland shit. But we like flavorful shit. Yes, it definitely would. Hi, Jamie. So what you're going to do with this handy dandy little spray canister is you're just going to lightly spray your cooking pan. I have two here. And then you want to do this step right before you finish your meat buns, just because otherwise it'll sit there too long or stuff will happen. Now the meat. You can use any meat that you like for these meat buns. I know a lot of the food pantries right now, for those of you who are unemployed, don't have a job because of quarantine, that are having to go through these food pantries. A lot of them are giving out cans of meat. those are the ones I prefer for this recipe. And in fact, I personally had to go through one recently, and I got, that canned meat. And it reminded me of this because when I was younger, a little personal time here. When I was younger, hi Jamie, I miss you. But yeah, so when I was younger, my parents were both on disability, and I was in high school still, and everything, and so that's part of the reason why I came up with this recipe is because we used to get stuff like that all the time just to be able to make it through the week. And so, first thing I said when I got that can, obviously you can get the canned meat or use fresh meat or whatever you want. But the first thing I thought of when I saw that was meat buns, and I got super excited. In fact, it took everything in me not to make it before before this point. Like, I seriously have been wanting this recipe all week. But what you want to do with the canned meat is, whatever it is, you want to warm it up a little bit so it's easier to use. I've already gone ahead and done that. But you want to warm it up on the stove, just pan fry it a little bit. And then you're going to just take a little bit of this dough and roll it into a little ball. And then try to get as much of a ball as you can. Now, obviously, you want to drain the meat, a little bit of it's canned meat or whatever it is, and obviously, on the inside, it's gonna be a little wet, but it's gonna cook it. So you want to make a little bowl out of it, fit in the palm of your hand, and then just put a little bit of the meat on the inside. You can make these meat buns as big or as little as you want them to. Just understand if they are bigger, they will take longer to cook, and you do not want the outsides to be too thick. So, and you just put a little bit, bring it up. And I always like to twist the tops of mine. You don't have to. You can round them, but I always like to twist the tops so they look like little doughed Hershey Kisses. Is what I'm gonna say that they look like. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So what's everybody up to tonight on this fine quarantine? I see there's 4 of you currently watching. So what's everybody up to on this fine quarantine? And also, if there's anything you'd like to see how I make or was different, I was actually thinking of possibly for next week doing a either a homemade apple slices or a homemade apple pie. Or within this upcoming week, I should say. I might do it a little, or I might, I'll do it next Thursday. So I was thinking about doing a homemade apple pie or a homemade, like the apple cinnamon side that you'll get at nice. but like I was thinking about doing a like the apple cinnamon sides like you get at like Texas Roadhouse, Longhorn Steakhouse, Applebee's, stuff like that. I was thinking about making those and stuff. Also, I'm not gonna show it today, but so my kitchen, I've got like a kind of a rooster theme. I've got cocks in my kitchen. Hey! But I've got kind of a rooster thing going on in my kitchen. So I have yes, I did say I did say I was missing you, Jamie. I haven't seen you in far too long. And it's okay. I was drinking earlier this week. Whatever you feel like. We could do tomorrow night. I just was trying to stay out of drag tomorrow. Or if you want to, if there's another day this week that'll work with you, if you want to go live tomorrow night and then we'll do a show together later this week. Hi Tayana, hi Jeremy. I would love that because I love you and I miss your face. So, but yeah, so and you just go through and you make as many of these little shits as you want. And then afterwards, which I might not show because this is gonna take some time to do. It's very handsy. But afterwards, what you do is you take so the recipe calls for butter. You could use cooking spray. You can do it however you want. Olive oil, and then you can put seasonings on top if you so choose. It's all up to your preference. You know what? If you do that tomorrow night, I will be watching. Just let me know what time, or message me, or tag me, and I will make sure that I'm watching. But no. So what you do is you take like a tablespoon of butter, preferably soft butter, and you warm it up just a little bit to melt it, and then you use. That's why I brought this thing. use a little, this is called a pastry brush. It's not for dyeing your hair, even though I've caught myself almost doing that before. But it's called a pastry brush, and what you do is you warm up the butter, and you just dip it in, and then brush it over the top of them, and then you put it in the oven. Now, I usually follow the instructions on this. So it says bake on for 475 from 11 to 15 minutes or until golden brown. Obviously, yes, you want to bake 475. I would try for closer to 15 minutes just because there's meat inside. Obviously, the meat's going to be fully cooked. You always want to use, with this specific recipe, you always want to use fully cooked meat. I do not recommend using partially cooked meat at all for this recipe, just for the simple fact is it could still be raw afterwards. Unless you're into that whole medium rare food poisoning stuff, and then go ahead, by all means. But it just won't cook. It'll warm up, but it won't cook. So what you want to do is just use fully cooked meat. Now you're obviously, because it's been a while since I've done this, you want to, or I'm gonna be checking it after the live feed ends. I'm gonna be actually baking these and checking them, and I will put up a picture of what they look like coming out of the oven when they're done. But you want to make sure that they get like a nice golden brown color on the top. That's a good tell that they're done. However, I would also still do the poke test. Poke test. Sounds like a little too much of my personal life going into this video. But I would do the poke test. And basically what that is you take a toothpick or like a knife or a fork and you poke it. And you give it a little prick. And we're not talking about a rude man at the bar, but you give it a little prick. A rude short man at the bar. But you give it a little prick and just make sure that the dough comes back either like crumbly. You do not want it to come back clean, or at least a little bit crumbly. If it comes back clean, then that means hi Jermaine, hi Carrington. If your fork comes back clean after the little prick, it means he's not done. Means that you're not done. I might have kids watching, so I'm not going to say what I want to say. But all you adults out there, you're grown. You know exactly what I'm trying to get at. So, and not in the dirty way either. Like, not in the toilet way either. Like in the you still going. Ain't no cinnamon cream. You got to keep going. I mean, you don't have to, but you're probably going to. And in the same instance, if you poke these, there ain't no little bread crumbles on it. These ain't done. These need a little bit more time to cook. So, I'm actually interested in who's watching, but it's not going to let me see because of the fact that I am watching this and not actually so. Sorry, I'm just sharing this to.
Hi, I'm Jim Gaffigan, and I'm staying home to flatten the curve and experiment anyway. Either way, you're invited to Dinner with the Gaffigans with me every night at 6 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/stayhome.
Okay. But yeah. So that's basically what the prick test is. This I'm making smaller ones because there's more than just me eating them. But in my household, if it was just me, I'd just make one big meat bun. To be quite honest with you, or two. Like maybe 2 to 3 times the size, just because I really like these. But I also I like big buns, and I cannot lie. No other brother can deny. when food walks in with itty bitty waist and a meat bun in your face, you go yum. I'm a horrible person. Like I don't understand how they're still bored of you watching me. Okay, so obviously I have a little bit of leftover meat. If what I can do with that is I can actually half this recipe and make some more real quick. So obviously but I don't think I'm gonna do that just for the sake of time and just for the sake of just sake of I'm lazy. I don't want to have to go get all the ingredients. But and then obviously you just butter them with butter and bone, and that's Scarlett's meaty buns. Um, so you do want to space these out at least 1 to 2 inches on the tray. So that way they're not clumping together. That way they do not when they cook they're gonna expand a little bit. The buns are yeah, yeah. Jordan, you know exactly what's on my mind. But yeah, so you want to space these a little bit apart because they will expand, just like my boobs when I put my padding in. They do expand. They do go from almost non-existent to double D's. Same thing with these buns. So they do expand just a little bit. You want to make sure though, before you put these in the oven, that these are completely sealed because sometimes the dough will like pull apart where you like try to join it at, and you want to make sure that that is completely sealed, that that has no meat poking through, that that does not have any open holes or anything, or they will not cook properly. They will cook kind of weird. Um, so yeah, I need to start drinking, to be quite honest with you. I'm ready to drink. I got tomorrow. So, but yeah, so that's Scarlett's Meaty Buns. Any questions you guys have for me? Jordan, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What recipe do you want me to see me do for the next Cooking with the Queen? I'm gonna sit here and wait until you tell me, Jordan. I'm gonna put you on the spot because I love you. Don't murder me. Don't disown me. But yeah, what do you want to see next time? What should I cook next time? Because this is very, very interesting. Actually, you know what, too? I think I'm gonna do a separate video about this little flag that behind me in a minute here before I get our drag. While these are baking, obviously, it's nothing too big. It's just something that's personal to me that I haven't really. I mean, I have, but I haven't really publicly stated, and it's something I came up with. Brownies, I think I have a couple good brownie recipes. I will look into that and will definitely I'll do some kind of dessert. I'm gonna look into brownie recipes because actually brownies sound really good. And so with all of my recipes too, what you'll notice is all of my recipes are gonna be, at least for the most part, allergen friendly. Strictly because of the fact that I have a lot of allergies and I do need to be allergen friendly. So for those of you who have like a dairy allergy, a nut allergy, stuff like that, I am right there with you. So I will be making recipes that, obviously I'm going to be showing how to do recipes that, are allergen friendly. Obviously, I'm going to give you guys also the non-allergen friendly recipe as we go, but I'm going to be making the allergen friendly recipe. So, all right, but I'm gonna hop off of this and get these in the oven, and then I'm gonna start a whole nother live feed about that personal thing. So thank you guys for joining me. It has been a very, very fun 34 minutes. The next one might be a little bit longer. I might do a couple of different things. But thank you for joining me, guys. It's been a excuse me. I think Miss Rona got me. Not really. Not really. Miss Rona can stay the fuck outside. Bye, Miss Rona. You is not allowed here, Miss Rona. Okay, but hi, Kaylee. But I'm gonna actually end this video here. The next Cooking with the Queen will be within the next couple days. I will let you know, or it'll probably be next Thursday, just because I gotta get more foundation. But I will let you know. There will be a flyer up, and I hope to see you then. Love you guys.